was last week. Most of us got out on Friday. It started on Saturday and went Saturday, Sunday, Monday, inspirational breakfast on Tuesday, and then we all pretty much got back Tuesday evening. When did you get back? Did you get back Wednesday?
Last night.
Last night. Okay, yeah. So traveling was interesting, but we all made it there and made it back. So that's good, all alive. And why don't you guys just kind of cover like a little bit about the experience before you get into your ahas? Because this is how many for you?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. 7.
Okay,
8.
same for me. This is my 7th.
7.
Okay.
So this on. Can you guys hear me? Okay. I've not been to Anaheim though. This was my first time going to Anaheim. And the downside is it's 2 days of flying. The upside is I would say it was the most well laid out family reunion. So just a brief overview, you get there, there's a couple general sessions where you're all in one big room and then there's breakouts. And the breakout sessions were so phenomenal. It was so hard to pick which ones to go to. So like if you can get on a family reunion Facebook group, which I think there's one now that's already titled 2024, people are dropping their notes left and right on the classes that they took, or you can like put your email in to get the notes if you see a specific class. It was really hard, and my focus, I was by myself. I didn't have Kim, so I had to pick like scarcely. So I think it came down to 6 classes there was total between the 4 days. And I, as a solo agent, what I loved was their panels are the best because it gives you a good idea of like all different types of production, all different types of teams. And they really did good with picking agents from every type for the most part. For the most part, every panel had a good arrangement of types of agents, meaning solo, team, buyer's agents, listing agents, luxury. And then the moderators were great too. A lot of more role coaches or master faculty, and they were awesome too. So you pick your classes based on if you have heard of the agent. Matt Leyva was on a couple panels for luxury. He was awesome. There's some great, I mean, it was just awesome. It was awesome.
Which breakout sessions did you go to?
So I focused on client experience, referrals, luxury. I supported Brad. Brad was Riches in the Niches. That was
actually a really good panel because of the divorce agent.
The divorce and the military girl. Yeah, I got a lot out of those two. It was great. So
I actually wrote down need to get more educated with VA loans. Like we all need to be 20, I think she said 23% of all loans last year were VA loans.
Yeah, 23%.
That's a lot, y'all.
It's awesome.
That's a lot.
It is awesome. And honestly, I could go off on a tangent. I love VA loans. It's awesome.
Ours been making a face.
I love VA loans.
Why am I making the face?
Because of VA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't know.
She's been telling us.
They're awesome. So yeah, that was my focus as a solo agent. I didn't do the lead gen. I didn't do the social media stuff. That really wasn't my focus. So I would love to hear some of those topics, but that was mine.
Okay.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I got the jet lag thing going on.
We all do. We all look like we could use some more sleep.
Why'd you look at me when you said
I just want to see what you look like. You look great. You look great.
Yeah, so this was my second family reunion, and comparing the two, both were equally excited. I think it was just as many people, it seemed like. You think?
I think there's more this year. Yeah, it felt like more. I don't know. I barely remember last year.
One of the biggest I went to had close to 20,000.
Oh, wow.
This one wasn't that.
It was 10,000.
It was 10?
Yeah.
More than that. Wow.
Yeah, they said it was 10,000 people.
I know. It was more spread out.
It was very spread out. I did like that.
Yeah.
The classes weren't as full.
Yeah.
I only went to one or
Yeah.
two that were packed.
Yeah.
The rest you had
room.
you could breathe in. I mean, the fire marshal was for real in some of those classes, y'all. They like will kick you out if you're on the floor. So
So I focused on increasing your sales through the storm as a solo agent. that was my focus, to ensure that I either not maintain or maintain, sustain, and increase. So once we go over, hopefully we will have time and you'll be able to hear a synopsis of the vision. And so Maria will go over the slides. You will hear the recurring theme about the market and where it's going to trend. So we definitely better be prepared. So you will want to do more of everything that's working well in your current businesses. So taking that in mind, my goal is to exceed my sales that I sold last year, units sold. And so in order to do that, I went to everything that I could to educate me to ensure that. And so also with that, I also focused on getting more referrals because the best lead source for me is referrals. And so I went to those classes. So there was some great tips about referrals and how to really maximize my referral-based lead gen lever. And I did a little socializing afterwards, but it was socializing with intention. And so that intention, when you go to family reunion, you have to be really intentional about, I mean, you spend a lot of money, you spend a shitload of money, excuse my language.
Good thing we're recording.
Yeah. Yeah. So you should be very intentional when you go there. And one of the goals, not only is the main goal is to learn, second goal is to network. You want to make connections with the top agents in the country, or more the world, actually. It's not just the country, it's the world. And so you want to not only make connections, but make real connections, because these people, you want them to know you. You want them to know you and to remember you in some kind of way. And so that was pretty much my experience there.
Nice.
Oh, high level.
Thank you.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Alina, and I'd rather stand up. That's easier.
That's fine, you can stand first.
Takeaway from me and from my business throughout
You're your own
is
boss.
to show up. So thank you all for showing up for this. That would be really nice to
Yeah.
just get, if you were not able to get to family reunion, maybe get some good nuggets from what we learned. Because all of us went to different masterminds. None of us were together. We were all dispersed. So it would be even nice to hear about their ideas, what they went to, and versus what I went to. So showing up, that's the first thing. Be intentional about the business. And make sure, even when you are out there, you are being intentional, making those connections. Like Tara said, this year I was very intentional because I never got referrals from out-of-town agents. And that was one piece I wanted to focus on this time. And I think I did a good job because I was intentional with giving something out. And I was like, I'll be happy to take care of your referrals and then get their information as well. Yeah. So yesterday and today, my job to do was putting everybody in command so that, for example, if I have a referral in Florida, I exactly know who I'm going to. So same thing, actually creating that connection with them and actually thanking them, maybe sending them a video and so that they remember my face and they'll be like, okay, I'm the one who was giving out the extra gum and then you remember my face, everything, and then just be intentional about that lead source as well. That was something Christy inspired me to do because she said her business comes through referral, and I was like, I never tapped into it. So good thing with working with a bigger brokerage is you get inspired every day from agents from all different levels, whether it's a solo agent, a top producing agent, master team, or whatever, you have something to learn and implement in your business. So I actually got tons of notes from all the masterminds I went to. I went to the one that taught a whole lot about how to market luxury because that's something I want to tap into. I also went into the social media one. I did feel I was kind of doing that to some extent, but then it was a whole lot upper level, like literally building your whole business based on social media. So there were a lot of good nuggets
Cool.
on that as well.
That's awesome.
Then I went to one that was all about farming. So I recently moved in a new neighborhood and I did not really do anything to introduce myself because I did not want to look really salesy and I wanted to be their neighbor. So this mastermind really helped me with some excellent ideas how I can be the neighborhood expert, but not being salesy, by just bringing the whole community together, and then eventually they just know I'm a realtor, so whenever they meet, just be the community expert. So a lot of ideas on that as well. And then we also went to the one about farming on a bigger scale, whether you want to do that, not to do that. What are the pros and cons? It does come with an added cost, but is it worth it? Lots of ideas expanding into my business. Yes, and are we going to the ideas right now, or?
Let's start with Christy since she started us off. Okay, so we can have like A to Z, if you knew the name of the breakout session that you went to, especially if at some point they decide to make these available, because some of them were being recorded, it's just, yeah, I noticed cameras in some of them, the bigger ones. If you know the name of the breakout session, and then if you guys happen to have gone to the same one, like if you went to one and then Tara's like, I was in there too, then you guys share your ahas back to back.
Okay.
And if not, then just go through like, I went to this breakout session, these were my ahas, takeaways, implementation items, whatever it is that you were like kind of, and then we can do one.
Okay, so the first one I'll talk about is client experiences for life. And did you guys go to that one? Okay, cool. Okay, so one of the key points they said was every client should create 5 transactions for you in the next 5 years.
Wow.
So think about that. So that means as you're going through that transaction with them, you're going to be asking them for a referral using the promise script. Look at that, look that up if you don't already have that.
Every
And-
client should create 5
is worth 5 more transactions. So when that happens, you then are, they're your client for life. So you're continuing to love on them throughout those time periods and continuing to connect with them. One of the things you said about closings, like don't bring your closing gift, as Asia said, I never bring a closing gift to closing. I always deliver it like 30 days later because they're so overwhelmed and like so caught up in the emotion and just moving and all of it. Then it gives you the opportunity to see like they've probably settled in a little bit. You can stop by and see their new house. They're going to be so excited to show you that new place. So that was one thing that they said. And then when you're going to hold an event, this was really cool. Send out an email before the event and just have them be thinking about a referral, like that they can bring to the event, like a name of someone. And then have a like client gift table and have some things on this table that they know that they have access to when they bring that referral. So when they check in, you're asking them for the information for that referral. And then you lead them over to this table that might have like Amazon gift cards or bottles of wine or whatever they get to grab because they brought you a referral. And they start to get excited about it, he said. So they were like, well, can I bring more than one?
Right.
So then they start bringing more to these events too. So use your events to capitalize on getting their referral. And then one more on that was he does that one agent was talking about doing 4 giveaways a year. So
Oh, wow.
there's different ways that you can do that to like create that. So one of the things I thought was really cool for I don't know if they talk about this in client experience or in farming, but like power washing, that could be a giveaway. So then you're supporting your small business or one of your vendors and you're doing a monthly giveaway that's that, or landscaping materials, like $200 in landscaping materials, or maybe time with your landscaper. So it's like supporting your small business and your vendors and then offering it up to your clients too.
Oh, you have to pick
We
that
were,
up with that?
yes, because we were on the same event. I think Tara was there as well. We went to this really nice breakout session that was about holding events on a budget. So that is something I am absolutely going to be implementing in my business right away, And it was not about making events a very big deal, which I always do. And that's something that holds me from executing it because I want to do it at a higher level. But doing them at a budget, I was really curious, okay, how to even do that at a budget? So she said, one of the panelists, she told, like, she holds 12 to 15 events every year, and those are smaller events. Like, for example, yes, micro events, and there are tons of ideas here, which I can also share. And it's also about where is the cost coming from? And all of those events, according to her, she said were under $500. And then she
Wait, all of them or each one?
each one of them. So,
Okay.
And
for
that's Meg Day. She has a playbook.
Mhm.
What's her
she's
name?
in Chicago, Meg Day, D-A-D-A-Y.
Meg? Okay.
D-A-D-A-Y. She spoke a lot last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
she's really
yeah,
good.
she was really nice. And then the book that she recommended was Never Eat Alone. So I was also just taking notes of all those books that were being recommended out. And I think those just relate.
What are some of the events ideas?
Okay, so for example, how to set a table, go to Crate and Barrel, go to Pottery Barn and ask them, can I have my clients over and we just need to learn and see how to set a table.
Huh.
So here is one event created on Facebook, invite everybody, no cost to you. Maybe you can pay for the drinks or whatever, but then the space is free to you and you can actually just execute it. So gradually and slowly, your clients will start seeing you, or your sphere will actually start seeing you as the person who keeps holding events. And not once, not twice, but eventually they will start coming to those if you make them fun and you actually provide value in there. Maybe you're not talking real estate right away, but then just be in front of the people, that helps. And a very big takeaway, which I was always missing on my events, is bring a friend. Ask your friends to bring a friend. So when they're coming to the event, they'll of course ask who's the host. And then that's where you get that introduction and then another person added to your sphere. And that was really helpful. Then some other ideas, like maybe go to a makeup store like Ulta or Sephora and say, can you show us how to do makeup, all you girls?
Yeah.
And
that's
have
fun.
it set up there. The place is free to you and they won't mind holding it for you. Similar thing, go shoe shopping at DSW together, all of you. And then girls' night
Liking
out,
this.
painting nights with friends, picnics, just hold it at a park, have the set up there, take photos, your event is created right there. Yoga classes, and then restaurant tastings. I don't know which restaurant would do that, but you know, it just takes you to ask. That's how I would put it. Just ask and see what are the events you can hold. And I'm pretty sure a lot of vendors will be okay because they are also being marketed out. So you're doing pre-marketing for them, you're just gathering everybody, and then you're just being in front of people and be intentional. And then by events, of course, you can always do it at the market center if you're a solo agent and you don't want to tell your clients, oh, you're my only 2 clients. So instead, maybe we can leverage our market center
Yeah.
and do it one of the days, you pay for the pie, and then we can pick up
Do it all
here,
together,
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah, do it together and try to do it at places that are free to you. Book clubs, entrepreneur moms, call all of them and then mastermind with them, support their business. They eventually support your business, create your own networking event. Go to nail salons for spa days with moms. And then doing public newsletters, reaching out to influencers around you that you connect with, and maybe doubling down on reaching out to their followers start following you, and doing it that way. And then one more takeaway from this events thing was, for example, if you're not seeing a person who you invited, instead of waiting for after the event to reach out to them, hey, you were not here, instead text right away. You should have a checklist of all those people who were invited and text them right away, hey, I don't see you. That just adds up another layer of being recognized. Instead of just being on that list, you are actually being intentional, and just that timing would help a lot. Yes, Jyoti.
I'm sorry, I don't know what I was going to ask, because I was excited. another thing to do, glom on to existing events like that the community is putting on.
Mhm.
So like literally, if it's something small as like Lewis Ginter Botanical Garden,
Yes.
like has like free weeks or whatever. So you can glom onto that and be like, hey, I'm gonna be here and I want my folks to come and see me and I'll give you like a free ice cream at.
Yeah.
So like glom on to things that like the Monument 10K, like I'm gonna do this, hey, and I wanna invite you guys to run with me or stand here and cheer people on.
I'll drink the Honey Mary.
Exactly.
I'll cheer you up the finish line.
Anytime for that.
Okay, so important thing with these is all the touch points, not exactly the event itself, but what are you doing before and after that? That's a huge thing for me because I don't like just calling people for nothing. If I have to invite them, I'll call them all day, every day. So, and then the timelines on this is like 30 to 40 days prior, just send an email, a Facebook invite or something, save the date.
So it doesn't have to be like planned out for the whole year. You can do them 30
to 40
days increments.
yes, increments, yes. And then the first touch point can be save the date. The second one is maybe a week earlier, just sending you a reminder for our event that's coming up.
Mhm.
And then the event itself is the third touch point. And then number 4 can be a thank you email, text,
Nice.
a card, or actually maybe even sending them photos if it was a photo event. And then also maybe sending them audio text, because they can just feel your energy through your tone and their excitement. So I think audio text goes way more than just writing that text. And then maybe if you're even saying their name, that just adds up another value. I do have some other ideas if you guys want, absolutely.
Wait, hold on. Before you go into the other one, Christy, did you go to the client experience?
I went to client experience, she went events on a budget.
Oh, okay,
But
that's
they
right.
kind of went
So,
together, so she.
did you go in the same one that she went to? Do you have any other things to cover? No? Okay.
You got anything?
Perfect, yeah.
Everything and a little bit more. So for example, balloon maker, hold the event at the zoo, do the free event, wrapping presents event, you're just wrapping it together, have everybody, just gathering people is something.
Yeah, it sounds like a class you're gonna teach for us.
And then,
Oh, that's
I'm
great.
ending. So, and then maybe collaborate with the events management company, because if you're doing them so often, maybe you want a friend who takes care of that whole management thing and do it that way. And just don't overthink and keep going. If you still need ideas, I have done tons of those still listed out, and I'll be happy to share.
I love it. Okay, Tara, tell us one of the things you went to.
Okay, so this one, anybody know Jane Shaw? Raise your hand if you know Jane Shaw.
Everybody read it,
If they don't, if you don't know Jane Shaw, you've got to know Jane Shaw. It's, well, for everybody, especially our newer agents, but he is a great go-to for every agent.
He's a Facebook group called Pivot Shift Ahead. Everybody should be a part of it.
Yes.
Go
So-
join it.
Go join it.
Yes, he's one of the speakers that if you decide to go to family reunion, which I highly, highly recommend that you start your.
Or mega camp, that's coming up.
Yes, start your savings account now. I made this recommendation last year. I'm coming back around again saying,
It's in Vegas next year.
it's in Vegas next year. If you didn't hear that, start saving, put your money to the side.
There's
Yeah.
actually already payment plans that you can sign up for if you go to the events page.
Really?
It's like $100-something a month.
Okay. It's an investment in your business. See it as an investment in your business. It's training, it's a write-off. Do it, invest in you.
What classes did you get?
Yeah, thanks, Christy. I was about to get at you, so she saved, she
But
saved.
anyway, okay, so Jane Shaw, yes, Pivot Shift Ahead is a Facebook group that you should join. It comes on at 8 o'clock on Monday through Friday on Facebook. They did record this particular class.
Okay,
It is being showed.
Oh, good.
On, I think it's Monday at 3, I will confirm that, but Monday at 3, be on Facebook.
What
on
was
the
that
Pivot
class?
Shift ahead. It's called, you can't control the market, but you can control your mindset,
Ooh.
okay? Again, it's you can't control the market, but you can control your mindset. So, going into the market, like I mentioned when I talked in the past time, the market is definitely shifting. Before you do anything, your mind has to be right. Absolutely has to be right. But you have to you need to know your new numbers. We have new numbers that you need to know. You're gonna have to know how many appointments, first of all, how many contacts that you have to make to get to your appointments, right? Whatever contacts you had to make on a daily basis before, you're gonna at minimum have to double that number. And you're gonna need to know how many they are. And then how many appointments you're gonna have to go on. Everything you're gonna have to do, you're gonna have to double it. So Gary Keller said, and I hope we got a video of what Gary Keller said, 2023 is gonna be hard. If you don't work hard to match the hard, your year is going to suck. Okay, that's Gary Keller.
He does not mince words.
No.
No.
But he wasn't saying like, that means you're gonna work 80 hours a week instead of 40. You just have to work smarter.
Right.
So like if our business is lead gen. So instead of maybe 2 hours a day, you're doing 4 hours a day. But that doesn't mean you work 10 hours versus 8 hours or whatever, you know what I mean?
You're just using your time in better ways.
And you have to have a balance.
So for me, what that means, on a daily basis, my lead gen time is from 9 to 12. But I have to make and be intentionally focused on making calls, texts, and DMs from 9 to 12. That means I can't be doing emails. I can't be distracted by doing everything that I'm not supposed to be doing.
Is this recorded? Yes, okay. I mean, I'm gonna send her that clip.
It's just that
Over and
serious.
over.
It's just that serious. And so within that, they said, be where your feet are, be present. So in line with that, be present. So if you're supposed to be lead genning, then lead gen. If you at home, if you're not coming into this office, which I see all your wonderful faces, right? I don't see y'all in here every day. I ain't in here every day. I'm not in here most days, but I have to be more intentional about coming in here so that I can be more focused. Then you need to be present where your feet are. If you're supposed to be lead genning, what you supposed to be doing?
Lead genning.
Not washing clothes, not running errands, because all of those are not money-making activities.
Well, and guess what you can't do here? You can't do the dishes. You can't do laundry. You can't have the TV on. Like you're here, you're working. There's nothing else to do.
And also, if you're gonna make social media posts, this was huge for me, profound. But my buddy Mark gave me this feedback before we left, a couple months ago. A post on Facebook that says, oh, my buyer closed, say let's congratulate my buyer. That's cute. Not telling the story. We have to begin. This was a resounding message that kept coming up throughout throughout family reunion. You must tell the stories. Tell your story constantly. This is the year when we're gonna have to do more of everything. So we have to begin to learn and that's another reason why I decided that I'm up here today, because I have to begin to start presenting more, talking more, telling the story more. We have to be intentional about everything that we do. So your Facebook posts, all your social media posts, your social media presence has to be intentional. Tell the story. Tell the story behind your social media posts. And your reputation will go farther than your feet will. So be intentional about how your social media presence looks. It's critical. It's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important. So that's what I got on that, particular.
I love that. And by the way, Kim, you're next.
Okay.
To piggyback on what Tara just said, on the 15th of March, from 1 to 5, what is happening in Richmond?
Regional meeting, the mastermind.
Yes, the regional mastermind with Mark King. They're
Mark
paying
King is,
our president. And Dana Gentry is not our president, but she could be. She's amazing. But one of the ladies that's coming to speak at the regional event, that she's the speaker that's getting paid $35,000. She is going to speak specifically on how to tell your story.
great.
So like, it's an hour of her just telling you how to authentically be you. And I think that we can't hear that message enough.
Yeah.
Okay, Kim, hi.
Hi, I will say this is a caveat. If you guys are telling your clients stories, please get their permission.
Yes.
And don't tell their story in advance, because that's motivation. You know, like wait till it's sold, just FYI.
Yeah, good
Little
point.
privacy,
Yeah,
little
your
privacy
butt. I cover your
conversation.
butt.
Real good about that.
Well, you,
I disagree with that.
if you're going to tag them or talk about them specifically, you have to get their
To get
permission.
their permission, yes.
Right.
Yes.
But like for me, sometimes I ask for permission, but I'll say, watch them do the home buying process. Stay tuned for the
Right.
journey throughout their home buying process. So not tell us when it's sold. So.
I think I just said that to a client. To me,
Yeah.
there's like a, we need to keep private information private. So like everyone has a different level of what they are okay with being
Yeah.
shared. I have a lot of clients that when they move, they don't want anyone to know that they're moving.
Right.
That's all,
Yeah.
right? Like, or it could get to their motivation. Oh, they're looking to buy something. Someone that you know knows them that they're gonna sell their
Right.
home, but they're not ready to sell it yet. So just like, that's all
Be
I'm saying.
careful, yeah.
Just be careful. Think about that. Think
Yeah,
about
that's a
privacy.
good perspective.
Okay.
Okay, what did you go to? We heard from, you missed, Christy talked about the client experiences for life breakout session. Alina talked about holding events on a budget, and then Tara covered them, one you were just
Mindset.
walking.
I didn't do
Mindset.
any of those, so good.
Perfect, okay.
All right, so I went to all listings. That's what I wanted more of, because that's what's going to change my business, the more listings I get. We have plenty, not that we don't have plenty of buyers, but we got plenty of buyers, right? So I wanted listings, because those are going to sell. I know a listing is always going to sell. So I went to the listing and then I went to leadership. So I have two kind of different sets of ahas. And I kind of split my time pretty equally. So I'll try to give you the highlights of what I felt like would be the best for you guys to hear. So all listings last year from 2022, 70% of them came from these three groups. People that inherited a property from their family, people, boomers, or downsizers. 70%
Wow.
of listings.
That's huge.
So where does that tell you guys our listings are coming from?
Older.
Yeah, you guys gotta be thinking about that. That's my natural market, so I'm like, and I looked at my
Right.
business, I have 4 deals right now, 4 listings that are all inherited properties, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so that was a really big takeaway to hear that. Everyone almost unanimously was doing comps with active properties. Have you guys noticed if you try to use sold properties to price your listings right now, October, November, December, even January closings are the other market. That's not the
Mhm.
market right now. It's really hard to price. So they were pricing with a lot of actives.
So what, okay, for people that are not in the loop, how is the December, January, even early February market different than what's going on right now?
So interest rates, right? And there's a lag time. So what's closing in January was probably back like late November, early December going under contract, right? The market was very different, than interest rates were still high, buyers were still a little bit nervous, right? So that's flipped now. We're seeing a spring market, we're seeing a different group of buyers.
Okay.
Also too, this was interesting. They had 2 different opinions on this, was when you were doing comps, it is an initial asking price. That was one person's kind of wording. The other one doesn't use price at all. They say the market position. It's kind of interesting terms. They use what's called an onboarding agreement. So right now I do a lot of listing appointments 6 months in advance, 3 months in advance. Like my clients aren't listing tomorrow, right? So I'm not having them sign a listing agreement until we have pictures and ready to go on the market. But you have them sign an onboarding agreement that says, hey, are you ready to move forward with next steps? Which could be getting my stager in, it could be, but is it an official agreement? I mean, no, but they're signing something. So if you sign something that looks like an official document, does that feel more
Yeah.
official?
100%.
So they're using an onboarding agreement, which I thought was smart. I mean, again, it has no legal standing, but like, it's an agreement between you and that person. I love
commitment.
that. These are the 6 factors to always know in your market. And these are things that indicate what's happening in our market, and they're a little bit different than what you might be following. One is interest rates, which we all know to follow interest rates. Always kind of have your pulse on what is the interest rate right now. The second one is available homes, not new listings, available homes. So in our market, we're down on new listings, but what are we up on? Available homes. Tells a different story. That tells a story of homes sitting on the market a little bit longer. And we are still seeing that, right? They're not prepared, they're not priced right. How many of you guys seen mispriced homes in the market right now? Like I'm seeing them all over the place, really bad pricing. Number of showings per listing. What's that tell us?
The interest.
Yeah, how much interest, how many active buyers are out there, right? Like, is that something, that's something I always think about. Like, how many buyers are gonna show up to see this house? Like, I don't know how many buyers are out there. If there's only one buyer out there and there's 3 houses, right? You better be the best priced home. So like, that's super important to understand. Number of expireds, we are seeing expireds now. Price reductions. How many homes have had a price reduction in the last 7 days? Have you guys seen a lot of price reductions? I have. I think you're gonna start seeing that slowing down, but if you look backwards, you're gonna have seen that.
Yeah.
And then pended and closed. So those are the 6 factors that they really, and that came from Jeff Glover. I freaking love Jeff Glover.
Yeah.
Know your scripts around these 2 things. And if you don't have a script for it, talk to someone after. The interest rate conversation. Oh, but interest rates are so high.
We're gonna touch on that today if I get time.
Right? So that's an affordability issue, not an interest rate issue, right? So right now, rates are a little bit lower, but what's happening with pricing? Is pricing going up or down right now?
It's going up.
It's going up. Pricing is going up right now. It's gonna go up, a little, maybe not as much as it did last year, but it's going up, right? So even though interest rates are down, what's happening with everyone's buying power?
It's going up. Wow.
Right, it's going down a little bit. If the prices are going up, even though interest rates are down, like kind of combats, right? So like, to me right now, my clients, the people that buy right now are probably gonna get the best deal. Interest rates are good. Prices haven't gone up 2 or 3 more months from now. When there's more competition, right? That means prices are gonna keep going up. We're just getting into our spring market. So my clients right now, if they can decide now, I'm like, decide now.
Yeah.
Buy now. Don't wait. Yeah. So that's affordability versus interest rate. The other one is a commission versus a net sheet. So I don't want to talk too much about this, but there's definitely a lot of variation in commissions that are being paid out right now. So there's a lot of agents who are willing to do things for a different price. So that you're going to have that conversation in a listing agreement and a listing appointment. Be ready for that conversation. Like, what's your value? What are you going to provide? Know your numbers. Like, I know that all of my homes sell. I can look back historically, the top amount of any home in that neighborhood typically, because I know how to motivate buyer agents to write better offers. Do you as a listing agent? That's really important skill to have. The net sheet, this was brilliant. So everyone here have a net sheet when they're working with listings for sellers, right? So this person did not put the amount in there. So let's say you're doing, you know, I can't say a percentage, but let's say you're doing a certain percentage. You put that percentage in the net sheet. You have it calculated at the net, but you don't actually put the money there. Make sense? So it's not a dollar amount there. There's a percentage in the net sheet. And then you still calculate at the bottom, but it's not called out. So I'm like, okay, it's different kind of thinking, right? Because they might be like, oh yeah, that's the, you know, I agree to that percentage, but if they saw the dollar amount, it might make them think differently. I love that tip. Love it. I still have a few minutes, seconds. Yeah, am I good? Okay. This is a networking class. Like, I'm on fire. I'm so excited. You guys, I literally came home from family. I almost like was comatose on the flight home. And then yesterday morning, I was like, I've been in appointments every hour, I think, since I got home. So if you do go to family reunion, when you come home, like, use that energy just to catapult yourself. Like, don't rest. You'll be exhausted, tired. You'll be like out of your mind, drinking a ton of coffee, but like, just go with it. Like, their energy is so high. It's like you're just steeped in it. So network stacking, this is brilliant. So network stacking, anyone here want to meet some just new people to add to your database? This is a great database idea. Anyone can do this. So you pick one day, and this person did it from 12 to 1:30, 1.5 hours. From 12 to 1 every Thursday, she has a lunch appointment with some kind of a vendor that she could give business to. They could give business to her. She gets to know their business. She's a really thorough, in-depth conversation, probably a bigger partner for you in your business, right? So I'm thinking like mortgage, title, insurance, home inspector, home warranties, like those kinds of people, right? That we know we can give business to. Can they give business to you? Can you be their preferred realtor? The second person shows up at 1 o'clock. The 12 o'clock lunch appointment knows your 1 o'clock appointment's coming. You introduce the two of them. So you make a connection for the two of them. Then you walk to the bathroom, say, hey, I need to use the bathroom. Glad I introduced you. I got to step out for a second. What do you think the two of them talk about when you walk away?
You.
So she says, I don't have to say anything. They talk about how great I am. Boom, there's like, they've given me a testimonial. And then everyone knows that someone else, then the 1 o'clock coffee appointment, that's a half hour, knows that there's also there's another 1:30 appointment coming in. I got the times right, yeah, 12 to 1. So it's 2 hours, 12 to 1, 1 to 1:30, 1:30 to 2 is how she does it. Each person knows the next person's coming. You introduce the two of them, you do the same thing again. So at the end of 2 hours, you've met 3 people, you've asked to be the realtor of choice, you know about their business, how you can help them, how they can help you. Could you
I
guys
love
do
it.
that?
Yeah.
Now, could you do that every week starting right now?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, that may take me like 2 or 3 weeks to get into that pattern, but if I start saving that time and start working on getting those appointments,
Mhm.
within about 2 or 3 weeks, I'm gonna start having that filled every week.
That's awesome.
That was a great idea. That came from a young professional.
Love it.
She was so cute.
They have the
Okay,
best idea, those young kids.
Do you like pay for the person's lunch or coffee, or is it just like?
I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you wanna do. I would, probably the coffee maybe, but like, I don't know about lunch, it's up to you. But really like take them somewhere where you know what the pricing is if you wanna. come
Shore
for
Dog
lunch.
Cafe in Richmond is a really great place to do what you just described because they do lunch and coffee.
Mhm.
So you could Shore Dog.
There's so many fun spots.
But I mean, that's just where I go.
Yeah, I would pick a spot that you just love, but you
Yeah,
know, where
I
you
like-
know you can always have a space and,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, pick a Panera that's not, you know,
That's
wherever.
true. Yeah, you can do Panera.
All right, so the next ones are some leader ideas. So for those of you guys who are leaders, anyone here taking the KPA? Know what it
Everybody
is
should
even?
raise their hand.
Everyone's taking it. On
Literally.
your team, the KPA, you have one KPA, everyone is overlaid on the KPA. Did you hear this idea, John?
Well, I mean, he's in KW Talent, so.
Yeah, so you take one KPA for your entire team and then you overlay everyone on it. Everyone has a spot, a different color on every factor. So you
That's
can
cool.
see your whole team on one sheet and where your holes are and how who everyone is. So on the KPA, there's all different kinds of factors. And so you can see
Like
kind of.
assertiveness, responsiveness,
Yes.
logical problem solving.
Yeah, so you can kind of see where everyone is. It's a brilliant idea.
I love
Just do
that.
it all in one spot. Another was, and these are for everyone. There are, I gotta find mine so I don't say this wrong. So here's what we all need to be doing every day. And I love this idea because it's so simple. You either need to sell something, you need to set an appointment. Hold on.
We're doing appointment.
Yeah, hold on, what was it? Now what am I forgetting? Oh, or sign something. Sign something, sell something, set an appointment. 3 S's. You do one of those every single day.
Wait, sell something, set an appointment, or sign something?
Sign something, sell something, set an appointment.
I like that.
So simple. If you haven't done it by the end of the day, make it happen,
Don't go to sleep.
right? How many of you guys have buyers right now that you're working with that you, and I know you don't want to raise your hand, that you don't have a buyer agreement signed for right now? I have probably 1 or 2.
Go get
So
one.
there, you have one signed today, right? There, you
Done.
sign it. Done. All right, the last thing was 4 agreements, and this was a bigger team, and they have 4 agreements with everyone on their team. And here's what the 4 things are that they require of their team. 1 is you show up Monday through Friday and at all events.
Wait, what?
It's a job.
Show up Monday through Friday?
And all events.
Dang.
So I'm gonna tell you guys, we have a very flexible schedule, and there's some faces in here I don't see very often. If you are not in the office, you will not be successful. I'm just gonna be honest. You won't make it. This business, you need other people. You need the support of other people. You need the energy some days when you feel down and you need to hear that somebody else did something really great. And it's just like little things. You start talking to an agent, all of a sudden they tell you, I'm gonna be out of town this weekend, but I need someone to hold my open house. And you're like, I'll do it.
Mhm.
And they just had a 5-minute conversation with you and they're like, yeah, I like you. Okay. But that you have to be here to have those conversations. So Monday through Friday, all events. Number 2, you have to report your numbers 5 out of 7 days. And I'm a very friendly kind of like, I like numbers, but oh, let's talk about the fun stuff. If you guys don't know your numbers and you don't know your numbers, you're not keeping track of that, and you're not holding yourself accountable to that. Again, it's gonna be really hard to be successful. Hold 2 appointments every week. So I can hold 2 appointments this week, kind of hold 2 next week, and the week after, and the week after, and the week after. It's the consistency. So if you congratulate yourself for holding 2 appointments this week, but then next week you have 0, right? That's where then that's a good skill you can start to learn. How do I set some more appointments? Do those network stacking, right? There's 3 appointments. The last one was add 5 contacts a week. And so we talk about this adding contacts. It's like meeting new friends. How many here are good at meeting new people or just meeting friends, making friends? Like we're all usually pretty social. That's why we're agents. So it's just meeting new friends. Maybe 5 new friends a week. That was it.
I love it.
So
Okay.
many more. So that's
So I think it'll take me about 10 minutes to run through and maybe talk a few of the slides. So we have about 5 minutes left for you guys. So do you want to go through all your notes and kind of pick the gems of the gems? And while you guys are doing that, to piggyback on the number that Kim gave you, she said 70% of listings are inheritance, boomers, or downsizers. Another number that Gary shared was the 75% of buyers are also sellers. Last year, 75% of buyers were also sellers.
This was a good tip I heard, which is that if you're calling someone you've never called before and you don't know them, text them first every single time. Because once you text them, your name comes up at least as a maybe on their phone.
Oh, that's good.
So it's not like a don't know. Yeah, that was a good tip.
Okay. Christy, what about you? What do you got?
So I went to a one for bulletproof luxury experience, but this applies to everybody. So when you're doing your weekly check-in with your sellers, do it on a Thursday or a Friday, because they're then going to be social that weekend, and they're going to remember you and conversation with you when they're out with their friends to say, hey, yeah, my realtor just told me that this is what we're doing this weekend. We're doing an open house and this is how many showings they've had. When you make your check-ins, do it on a Thursday or Friday.
Okay, this one was for old leads. You get ready to call an old lead, they're stop researching the old lead. Don't go back and read every note. Don't read any notes that you wrote about that old lead. Which I was like, what? That takes 5 minutes, right? So they're like, no, don't do that. Just call and say, I know I'm calling you out of the blue, but I saw a little while back you had interest in real estate. I'm curious if you still do.
And then they'll tell you, yeah, I just bought a house last month.
That's it. Right, but how many of you guys do that? You feel like you need to do some backstory before you call someone.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Just use that simple script. Do you want me to say it again?
Interest in real estate.
Yes, can I say something? Sometimes when I write down their children's name or I bring it up oh, Shawnee, and they're like, oh my gosh, you remember they were in the
Yeah.
hospital? So I think that's very helpful when you pick out a piece so you won't just be a number to it.
You can, except for what are you calling about?
Right, okay.
Real estate.
Yeah.
So if they don't have any real estate needs,
Then you're
and you
just
just have a
chatting.
social call, that's great, but you
Yeah.
need to have a transition,
Yeah, agreed.
right? So that's why she was like, hey, I know I'm
Yes.
calling you out of the blue, so you could have not talked to this person for 2 years. We all feel guilty about that. Don't say, I'm sorry I haven't called. I know I'm calling you out of the
don't say that.
blue, but I saw a while back that you had an interest in real estate. I'm curious if you still do.
Okay, I want to hear one from Tara and one from Alina, and then we're gonna wrap up. I know, and here's the thing, you guys, we have notebooks and pages of takeaways and stuff like this. This is why you all have got to start saving for family reunion next year. You implement one of those ideas that you guys just shared, you're doing 10 to 12 units a year just off of one of the things that you guys talked about today.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I made one section of my notebook ahas and then one section of to-do.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, Tara, one thing.
Okay, so my one thing that I want to leave and share with you was a confirmation of what I was already feeling before I left, which is relationships drive your business. So real estate going into this year, it's not going to be transactional. It's all about relationships, to piggyback off of what Brittany was saying. Audit and analyze those relationships. However, you should have your clients tagged as in accordance to the value that you bring to them and that they bring to you. So each client should have a dollar amount associated with them. You should have your A client, your VIP/A's. You should know who they are, your top 50s, love on them really, really heavily. And clients' needs have changed, so you should really, really know them. Your pop buys, your gifts, everything should be relevant. Everything should be relevant in this day. The seeds, little seed packets, everybody need a packet of seeds. If you know what that is, just think about it. We can talk about it later.
My biggest takeaway was leverage. At a very high level, you can find people all day to do a lot of things for you, whether it's something helping you at home, in your business. Even at this point, we also have people who can even help you with lead gen. So I am going to be heavily leveraging my business and only be focusing on lead gen. So lead gen at a very high level, create a bunker, no excuses, and Maria can hold me accountable to that. And Tara.
Oh, and I have recorded now, so.
And,
Because I'm really screwed.
and then one takeaway, if I have to share, is have your Google reviews taken at a higher level. And one of the websites that do it for you is nicejob.com. So this website is, because with me, some of my clients are reviewing me on Facebook, others are doing it on Zillow, others on Google. So this website brings everything together and just publishes it on all the platforms. So that was good. Nicejob.com.
Love it.
And then the Google reviews just bring you up on Google pay-per-click and everything.
Cool.
So,
Great. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's, can I get a round of applause, by the way, for these amazing panelists that all I did not pay them to do this, right?
I was gonna aha from my leadership.
Okay, well,
Can I
real
give a
quick.
quick one?
Yeah.
Okay, so an aha from my leadership was thinking about, this is for all of you, whether you just have a TC stage or whoever you're working with, like, how good are you at leading? Like, what would people say about you working with you? Do they enjoy working with you? Right? And the other question they asked too was, would you want to be on your own team? Would you want to work for yourself? That's a huge and interesting thought.
Would you hire yourself as an employee if you were self-employed?
But more importantly, do I want to work for me?
Yeah.
So that, for me, that gets at like, do I provide a big enough opportunity? If you want to attract talent like yourself, would that person be attracted to you?
Okay, so good stuff, right? Amazing stuff? Yeah. There's so much to share. Like I've only gone through like 3 of my breakout sessions and I just keep writing like ahas and things that I want to like implement. So like I said to you guys that were here earlier, Gary Keller shared these slides with us, and this was during the vision speech, which I'm hoping that you guys were able to log in because that was kind of the only one that you could watch if you were not a family reunion. Whenever you get opportunities like that, by the way, guys, that was Sunday at 11:30. Unless you're like at church or like you're, you know, you have your kids that you immediately have to pay attention to, like to get an opportunity to watch an hour and a half of what's going on in the industry, for you guys to give that up, like, I don't know what else you were doing except watching that. I mean, if I'm going to be completely honest.
Watch the whole thing.
Nice, I love it. So you're going to be tracking what we're talking about. So here's what Gary Keller said. He said, there is no shortage of leads. There is no shortage of people. There is shortage in your work ethic. If you want to control your outcome, you need to increase your activities. So here are the numbers that are driving the economy. The first thing we're going to look at is home sales by an annual basis. One of the things he was talking about, which was really funny, is all these slides of all these numbers. And they're like, we try to put as many numbers as on one slide as possible so we can confuse the crap out of you. And really, we still have to be able to like digest these slides and learn them and know what they mean, right? So this is in millions, right? So how many homes actually sold, right? So when you're looking at 2002 to 2006, what was going on between 2002 and 2006? Mortgage, yes, mortgage fraud, subprime lending, all that stuff. So everybody and their mother could qualify for a house, and the market showed us that, right? The market actually reacted to that, and people were buying houses at a high level. Between these, let's see, 6 years, is that 6, 5? No, 4. Between these 4 years, we have $32.2 million worth of sales. Then we went into a more balanced market. Who was in real estate in 2010, 2012? Okay, that's the market we're going into. Right, y'all remember that? Like, not enough listings, way too many buyers, right? So when you look at this, what you guys, this is 2020, 5.6 million. This is 2021, 6.1 million, and this is 2022. What drove this increase in home sales? The pandemic. Because the only thing that the federal government can control when we're going into a down economy is they make money cheaper so more people can afford more things and go out there and spend money, right? So what that made that happen is between 6.1 and 5.0, what he said and exactly how he described it is, it felt like we just jumped off a cliff. So, and I don't know if you guys remember November, December, January of this year, that was kind of a weird market because sales just kind of halted all at the same time, right? They talked a lot about you have to be educated about what's going on nationally. It's not good enough to just talk about Richmond because your clients are not hearing Richmond news. They're hearing national headlines. So if the clients are hearing that the market is bad, that's what you need to educate them on, right? So what he's basically predicting, what the financial, whatever the guy's name is, our financial advisor that's like on our, payroll, that it's gonna go to around 4.2. Now here is, I guess that's the bad news, right? And before we get into the other ones, I kind of want to tell you guys the good news and take it for what it is.
Make me smile.
I know, I got to, right?
He's the chief economist.
Oh, he's the chief economist.
Quick scripting.
No, but hold that. There's so many slides, Catherine, I want to cover it all. So here's the deal. So when you guys see this agent count right here. Agent count 1.3, agent count 1 million. What happened in 2008 and 2009 when the real estate market crashed?
Foreclosures.
People got out of the business. So then what's happening right now that we have, the highest sales that we've had in a really, really long time. Everybody went out and got their real estate license, right? So the good news is there's going to be less closing or less sales, but the good news is there's going to be less agents. So when they do the averages across the board, and I'll give you guys exactly, nationwide, on average, an agent last year did 6.3 units on average. They're expecting, because of the market decrease in unit sale and because of the agent count going down, that number is going to go to 10 units per agent. Okay. So y'all, the name of the game right now is don't quit. Like whatever you were going to do, double it. And then the business that goes, because guess what? Not everybody's having these conversations. There's realtors out there that decided to hang their license at discount brokers that never hear from their office. They don't know what's going on. They're out there on their own, right? And they're the ones that are going to drop out, and those are the units that you guys are going to pick up.
That's that quote. Just because there's going to be less opportunities doesn't mean your opportunities are less.
Correct.
If you work, you could have more opportunities.
Yeah. So this is monthly home sales by like the month, every month, January, February, March, May. You can kind of see like what's happening. How did November feel? How November felt is how the market that we're going in is going to feel. Now, this is a really cool slide. This is the home, like the increase, like average price per home type of thing. So what happened by the way, there's something called a trend line. Have you guys ever heard of that? So a trend line is basically in real estate is 4%. It's the thing that tells us how much is real estate going to appreciate at the very minimum year over year over year over year. So if we start in 1990 and we just draw a 4% trend line and we drive that number up, that's where the market should be. If it's above the trend line, it means there's something that's going on in the economy that's manipulating that number, like interest rates. it's bad, right? Because then it really truly does mean that your clients are somewhat overpaying for that inventory because they're above the trend line. So in 2006, it went above the trend line. Now that we're seeing numbers, look, 2022, it was 12% above trend. And then in 2023, we're estimating 357. That would be the trend line. And right now we're tracking at about 380. So we're pretty close to the trend line. That's a really powerful conversation. This is a slide that you would have in a buyer consultation, because you're basically explaining to the sellers, you're not really overpaying by that much because we're following a 4% trend line. So that one was a really good one. In fact, he said you ended in December at 367. That was where we ended in 2023. And again, so 367 to 357, I mean, we're following a 4% trend line. No, it's not bad at all. I want to talk about, so we talked about this slide. The last one I want to talk about is the interest rates.
That's mortgage.
Yeah, mortgage rates.
You know, they had one on the interest rates that showed
I think it was
like
this
the
one.
4%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it has to be this one. Okay, so this is historically where interest rates have been since 72. Should this slide be in your buyer presentation?
Yep.
When your client is telling you that 6% is expensive, how does 16% sound? So when you look at the numbers, really, haven't we seen the lowest interest rates that we've ever seen in a very, very, very long time? So let me explain to you just a second of how interest rates work, because I really got this big aha when Gary was talking this time. And by the way, if I sound really smart right now, let me just rephrase the conversation that I have been hearing these conversations for 7 years. So if I haven't figured it out by now, I seriously should just get a different job. So if all these numbers sound really weird to you, it's okay. It's like the first time you hear it, it's like a different language, right? So we did not have, I'm going to give you guys a number. When 2007 or 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009 happened, we missed out on building 4 million homes that we would have needed to sustain the need of homes for new buyers. 4 million homes did not get built because builders didn't have the money, builders went out of business, the whole crash happened, so we missed out on 4 million homes. So we have a 4 million home deficit in the market, okay, which is huge, by the way. And then you have a pandemic that hits, and the one thing that the government can do is they can control interest rates, and they did. So they brought us all the way down to 3% because they were like, we're going to flood the market with money. We're going to help the economy stay alive. Thank God. Like that was probably somewhat smart, right? If they were to ever lower the interest rates again to that point, which our chief economists believe will not happen because it's practically impossible to do it
In our
lifetime, unless another pandemic hits, and then we'll see what happens, never say never, is the value of homes would go up so quickly that the affordability index would be decimated. Because right now we're working with, let's say 5.5, 5.9, 6%, right? Let's just say that that's where interest rates are right here. Historical average from 90 to 2000. If they were to drop to 3.8, it would bring the price of new homes so fast that people would not be able to purchase any more houses. So really internalize that thought. When you're speaking to a client and they're saying 6% is high, I want to wait till they drop, you need to be able to have that conversation. We're missing 4 million homes worth of inventory. If the government were to decide to drop interest rates in the 3.5%, it would crush our economy, right? Because guess what? Inflation, how bad is it right now? It's bad, right? Imagine if interest rates were 3.5. What would inflation be doing right now? It'd be even worse. Like I mean, really, it would probably collapse our dollar. I mean, or close to it. So, they had a really great owning versus renting slide. That, I mean, there's you guys, these slides are like super, super good.
How
What,
about the
Christine?
financial investment? Is that the one you're looking for?
It actually says rent versus.
Oh, by the way, like, this is a really cool slide right here. It shows, how are these different? Hold on.
Years.
Oh, the years. Okay, so right here, it talks about inflation, right? People say like, oh, back in the day, things cost like $1, right? And it's like, well, yeah, they did because the dollar was worth more. And now it's worth less, right? So it takes more dollars to do the same thing. So in 1989, you could buy a car for $15,000. In 2022, average price is $49,000. And then it says real change from 1989 is 31%. So it's not that big. And then gas is the same. And then price for the house, they say, well, back in the day, you used to, your mortgage payment was $678. Now it's $1,700. That's only a 2.81% change. So value of money is not the same. Like, you have to really understand that conversation. And then this is 2000 to 2022. So just 22 years ago, what you could buy for something and now what you could sell it for. So part of the financial wealth conversation is also using time as leverage for wealth building, right? Because the price of money is worth more. So I talked about Canada. I think this is cool. This is where the wealthy spend their money. Allocation of financial investments. So basically what they know is that in 2022, the financially wealthy people, 15% of their money was held in real estate, 24% was held in cash, 18% was their fixed income, 29% was in the market, and then additional investments. So the wealthy are holding their money, 15 to 20% of their money is being held in real estate, which is a pretty big number. There's this other slide that was like, oh, this one's like so good. Oh my God. Hold on.
Yeah, the rent versus own is a good one.
All right, so where are first-time home buyers starting their search? What does it say? Looked online for properties for sale, 52%. Contact a real estate agent, 19%. Contacted a bank or a mortgage lender, 7%. Do I have to tell you guys what to do? Seriously, add those up. Somebody add those up. 52 plus 19 plus 7, what is that?
78. Yeah, 78.
78. 78% of the time, a buyer looked online, talked to an agent, talked to a lender. What are y'all supposed to be doing?
Be online.
Be online, talk to your clients, talk to your affiliated lender partners, because they're talking to them before they're talking to you 7% of the time. No, this is not rocket science. Like, John and I were sitting at lunch, I think, like right after this, and I was like, John, look at these 3 numbers. These things are huge. And do you guys all have a website?
Okay, now follow
Yes.
it up with that 12% one.
Which one?
But how many people said they
Oh.
love their agent
Yeah.
and
would
how many
use them
actually
again.
use them again?
85% or 87% said they would use their agent again, but only 12% do.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, right?
No, this is the buyer.
Something like that. Just stay in front of your.
What buyers want from their agent, how buyers found their agent.
Yeah, that one. Use,
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
that 12%.
Yeah, use agent previously to buy and sell a house. Okay,
But they loved them.
do we see any issues here? 78% of buyers are out there looking online, talking to agents and talking to lenders, and only 12% of them use the same agent. What does that tell us? What are we not doing? We're not following up.
Right.
Y'all have got to get out of your own way. You don't matter that much. Let me be the person that tells you this. Nobody is thinking about you. You're not that special. I'm sorry going to be the first person to tell you. In this room, I think I only thought about Patrice this morning. And then the meetings I had, Shamir, because I had to text her. Like, be honest with how your clients see you. When you pick up the phone and you haven't called somebody in a year and they go, yeah, I already purchased. You guys, the numbers are telling us what we have to do. This is not like, we're not trying to fly a ship to the moon here, like a rocket ship to the moon.
Two things Gary said was also, if your lead gen source is not producing a lead, it's not a lead gen source.
Right.
And then lead gen right now is all about speed.
Sure.
He thinks he said.
Well, because guess what? 67% of the time, a buyer only interviewed one agent. And so he made a joke about that. He was like, you don't even have to be that good. You just got to be number one. He's like, just be first and you're fine. And then most important factors for buyers. Experience, honesty, and trustworthy reputation are the top reasons. These are really great slides. Like, I really encourage you guys. This one?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Is real estate a good financial investment? And this is what people thought. Good investment, 84%. Is real estate a better investment than stock? 60% of people thought it was.
Yeah.
Like, they're already sold, you guys. We just have to go talk to them. And this was repeat and referral business. So in 2022, these were the numbers: 76%, 13% probably not, definitely not, don't know. The one that I thought was really good, and I know you guys have to go. Now, by the way, this is for sellers. How sellers found their agent: referred by a friend or neighbor or relative. Why do we talk to our database?
Yeah.
Because 36% of times the listings are coming from referrals. Used agent previously to buy or sell a house. That's it. I mean, those are the top two. Everything else doesn't matter. So look at the bottoms and see, like, am I doing all these things trying to get 50, 60% conversion ratios? Because if I am, it doesn't matter, right? And then this one was good. Hold on. Actually, it's not part of it. I'll have to send it out. The
Here's
rental
the best
one.
part. 1 in 5 of every transaction that occurred this year in real estate
In the United States.
in the United States was a Keller Williams agent.
So I want to hear some thoughts / takeaways from today. Anybody? What do we miss? Communities, yes. We have not talked about communities. We need to talk about communities, but we need to announce them and do a whole thing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise.
There's so many new ones
so
that,
Yeah.
Catherine, do you want to do your script?
Yeah, so
Okay.
you know how we're talking, so you were mentioning about the national,
Home sales.
understanding the national forecasting, because that's what your clients are hearing
Yeah.
on the news.
Yeah.
And so the great scripting with that is you can agree with them and then school them. So you never want to say no, because they shut down as soon as they think that you're arguing with them. So you agree with them. You know what, you're correct. I have heard that in the national news. Let me explain to you what's actually happening in the Richmond area, because that's a different story,
Love that.
right? So you say yes, and then you tell them the different story. So don't fight your client, don't argue with your client. You can agree with them and then move them forward.
Awesome.
Are you guys gonna go do any of the things that we talked about today?
even like 3 of them.
What is it? Tell me one of those things. One thing that you're gonna go do that you heard today.
Get a buyer agreement signed.
I like it. What else? Melissa's got one back there. She's really making you work.
I'm gonna sell a house today.
All right.
Can I share something real quick?
Yeah.
So thank you all, thank you, it was so good, and
Yeah.
then just the reminders from you, just the 2 of you, it's just, family reunion is just so wonderful, and it's a lot to take in, and so many great ideas. But from today, I love the event idea with the whole crate and barrels at the table. While crate and barrel might be, I actually have a client who works there. I text him back here and he's like, yeah, I don't know, we don't have a store manager, but actually I like a step further, find the local business.
Yeah.
The local businesses. And that's how I met John Pace, is knocking on a local business door, introducing myself to the neighborhood. But one quick thing, I'm sorry, and we gotta go, because I gotta go too. The whole idea is how you show up in the morning, right? Like, it's easy to roll out of bed and be like, oh my gosh, I'm a realtor, what am I gonna do today? Or maybe get down on yourself about maybe not doing, like, it's okay to, if you have to take a minute and breathe, but then get back in. Like, why are you here? Why are you showing up? And I'm telling you, it really does work. What you do today is going to show up. You just gotta keep going. And if you ever need a positive pep talk, my door is always open. So feel free to call me, Kitara.
My sign says, win the morning, win the day.
Yeah, sign something, sell something, set something. I mean, it's,
That's
awesome. I love that.
So here's one, I'm the diversity, equity, and inclusion chair. We're always recruiting if you're interested in DEI. So next month is Women's History Month. And particularly, I think it is March 8th is International Women's Day. You should all have that on your calendar and have something about that. But with that in mind, with Melissa's idea in mind, something that you can do is support a women's owned business and showcase a women's own business, do a client event surrounding it.
That's cool. I like that idea, Tara, a lot.
Yeah.
That's really smart. Awesome. All right, guys, sorry to keep you guys past. I hope you guys got a lot of value out of it. We will be talking about these slides over and over again. You guys will be talking about these slides over and over again. So it's gonna be me.